Welcome everybody to the Suction Sex Live. We are going to be talking about Dr. Saida Désilets' Ambassador Program. Now, I am very excited to be speaking about this because I have personally seen the effects of it when building a medical protocol with you, as well as our work with South Africa and the Department of Justice. And frankly, you've also done some stuff with the NHS?
Yes.
So I would love for you just to go ahead and tell us just briefly, why is it that your education is different than, let's say, the other kind of like goddess certifications or like sacred spot? I mean, it's almost insulting to say that, but go ahead.
I don't want to insult any other school, but unfortunately in this particular industry, the field of sexuality, intimacy, all of that, there's generally no standard. And the only standards are like a typical sex therapy credential or a doctor that works specifically around sexual function. But in terms of all the alternative options, there's really no standards. And so anyone can set up shop. I remember meeting a practitioner. She had a PhD, and I asked her, where did you get your PhD? She was teaching this stuff. She goes, oh no, I just printed out a certificate. I don't actually have a PhD. Okay. So it was horrifying. Why we need standards is to protect the clients, actually. And if practitioners aren't willing to get properly educated, they don't actually then care about their clients. Because if you're not properly educated, it would be like, I don't know, starting to drive a car and running a drive school, but you've never actually learned how to drive properly. And then you're teaching other people to drive, but you don't know how to drive properly. It's a disaster, which actually happens in Vancouver, by the way.
So
there's plenty of this.
So that's the metaphor. What are some of the skills then that are helping your ambassadors to drive properly?
Yeah, okay. So the entire program is based on some strong premises. There's 12 premises, and those premises are really different than what's available out there. They're not typical premises. They're based on a very long career of working with people, what works, what doesn't work, and just seeing how talk therapy isn't enough, the way that talk therapy assists people, even how we frame the majority, whether it's Tantra, Taoism, talk therapy, any kind of conscious sexuality, the orientation is still that the client or patient is a victim of something, whether they're a victim of a rape or a trauma or a bad boyfriend or bad girlfriend or a bad teacher or a bad guru. There's always this you're a victim of something, and there's nowhere to go when you're a victim of something. So one of the main premises is that a person is powerful. And this is actually really crucial, and it's something I have to repeat over and over again. It's a year-long program consistently because it's so ingrained in the culture of woundology. Victimology is everywhere in all the jargon, all the lingo. Just listen very carefully. Someone who's making you a lot of idealistic promises will also be framing you as a victim of something.
So who would be a perfect candidate for this type of training? Because there is an application process.
There is an application process, and it actually costs to apply because I only want serious people. So who is it good for? The reason I did this program, it's called, the first half is Embodied Psychosexual Method. And the reason I'm opening it up to any practitioner, not just doctors, medical doctors, and qualified therapists, is that I actually believe that we need to get sexual sovereignty and the concepts of embodied psychosexuality everywhere in every strata of society. To do that, we have to train as many different types of modalities as possible, which is why this work is so amazing, because your current modality, you could suddenly become overnight an industry leader, which has happened to a lot of people who do this training. So it's basically for any practitioner who's predominantly already working in this field. I don't typically like to take on kind of beginners or someone who's just starting out, because it's almost like a master's level training. And so if you're really interested in serving a client, you're already serving some clients, and you want to do a better job, have a better conversation. I don't care if you're a medical doctor, a naturopath, an osteopath, a yoga teacher, a business person, whatever your background is, it is important if you're working with human beings. How do you talk about sexuality and intimacy? Because your clients, patients, workers, co-workers are going to bring it up at some point if you're the main touch point in the business.
So some programs basically are just going to bring in as many people as possible, and I've heard complaints that they don't get the personalized attention from either the teacher, or they don't really feel supported through it because they're just kind of like ushered through the program like cattle, and then get a certificate that doesn't really serve them.
This, my program is a Bespoke program. So
what does Bespoke mean?
Bespoke means that there is going to be a certain amount of the program tailored specifically for the person's needs. So there's a general, the premises are the same across the board for everyone. You have to get certified in those. But you're also unique. You're different. Your business is different. So we have to take the time to curate the program to your specific needs and the needs of your clients. So really finding out if a program you're considering has even more than, I'd say, 30 people. Find out, is there support staff, and is that support staff actually really well trained? How much touch point will you have with the visionary, the founder of that practice? Do you even get any private sessions? In this program, you will be working one-on-one with me throughout the whole year. You will also be coaching with my coach. You will be working with already a pre-established group of graduates who are there to cheerlead you. So there's a lot of support and a lot of touch points. Whereas when in the bigger programs, that is also true. What I've heard is that you get lost in the program. No, you're not really getting anything curated, and you're not really learning things that well because you don't have a chance to be in the hot seat and really present your problems and your successes.
Is there any support for like the times that might be challenging to go through this?
Absolutely. So the way that the training is designed is not just to give you a certification. You become part of a global collaboration. And this collective of powerful, motivated women who are really trained extensively, we're there to uplift each other. So as you're moving through, the alumni, they repeat the program 4, 5, 6 times.
Wow.
So you're receiving wisdom from people who started way back when, as well as being inspired by the new, fresh enthusiasm that comes in each year.
So there's a limited number of seats, and tell us a little bit what you're doing this Saturday.
Well, this Saturday, I'm going to hold a free training. This one's for everybody. So even if you're not a professional and you just want to find out what are the top 3 mistakes that professionals make in this industry and kind of how we need to transform those, I want to give a very clear skill set. That free training is happening this Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific. I think I put the link in both of our bios, so it's very easy for you to register. It's free. There is a little survey because I want to know who you are, so it'll be a little bit personalized to those who come. There's already hundreds of people who've joined, so it's very exciting. And even if you do nothing else, then come to that training. I'm hoping, it's very urgent for me to raise the standards of this industry, and so I'm hoping that that happens with this training this weekend.
Well, this is really exciting. I really recommend that you go ahead and take the opportunity to get this free training on Saturday, as well as to consider Dr. Saida Désilets' ambassador program. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the messages. You can also DM either myself or Dr. Saida Désilets and her team.
Yes.
Hope to see you there.